Hi, this is Matt Colgrove, and you're listening to the SRJC Polar Bears podcast.
All right, so gentlemen, who is excited for Game 2 of the World Cup of Hockey tonight? I didn't think so. Yay! I mean, I'm excited.
America's not in it.
I'm excited for a different reason. Than
Hey,
you
this
guys
is Europe's chance.
This is Europe's chance. Okay.
This is a must-win
So-
for Europe.
That's what I'm not.
Due to the time frame where we do our podcast, which is Thursday afternoon, obviously the recordings don't tell you that because they usually come out later. They come out the next day or a couple days after. We record on Thursday afternoon, so right now we are recording before Game 2. So we have no clue what's going to happen, and we don't record again for another week. So by then it's going to be old news.
Yeah.
So
Super old.
So Canada won.
So yeah, let's go. Yeah, so let's do that. We'll do an edit for each one. So let's pretend Canada won. Guys, Canada won. Hooray!
I think Canada's gonna win.
I mean, okay, Canada won. Good job, guys. I mean,
And then
they put it together,
think
didn't they?
Europe's
They really did. They really did win.
They had the toughest road out of anybody.
Oh yeah, of course. I mean, I don't think anyone was had more of a hardship here than Canada. They
Well, I mean, all the
deserved it.
pressure is on Canada. Like,
Hey,
like,
that
they
is
gotta
true.
win. Or,
That is true. All the pressure is on Canada because if they lose, they look terrible, regardless of who they're playing against. They could be playing against like the greatest team in the history of hockey, which would be just probably another Canadian team.
Yeah.
But people would still say, "Why didn't you win gold? Why didn't you win gold or
They're an
the
all-star
first
team.
place?" Yeah, exactly, right? I mean, but all of them are in a way. All of them are all-star teams.
they're all stars in my heart.
Yes,
Like
exactly.
That's where it counts.
Okay, now to go to the
I
other
guess
side.
that's what I was trying to say.
Now let's go to the other side. Guys, Team Europe shocked the world and won 2 straight games and won the
No,
World
they
Cup of
didn't.
hockey.
I
Yes, they did.
always
as far as
knew
we
they
know.
could do it.
As far as we know, yeah, you know, I
I was behind Team Europe the entire time.
Yeah, you know what? I have to say I'm
Can we check the tape?
I'm Team Europe fan, right, guys?
Can we
I'm
check
Team
the tape
Europe.
on that last statement? There?
Yeah.
Roll that back.
Wait, what did he say?
I'm gonna say people are gonna think that all I own are Canadian shirts because so far all of our shows have been within the World Cup of Hockey, so I've been wearing
Yeah.
Canadian stuff every day. But that'll change. I'll go back to blue.
But it is
I'll
true.
Go back to
He
the,
really only owns Canadian
That is
stuff.
not true. I own plenty of other shirts.
Do you just have like a storage locker in this room?
I
Do
have-
you keep that. so
I
you put
have.
it
I
on
do
for
at
every
home
show?
have my jersey closet where I
Yeah.
have all my jerseys. So
Oh,
I
man.
have a good collection of them going.
I wish I had enough
I only have one Canada jersey
disposable
though.
income for my own jersey.
Most
closet.
okay.
Yeah,
exactly.
Most
He
I
told
will,
me
definitely
to
go
be fair,
for-
to be fair, most of them are just from playing hockey and getting a jersey out of it.
But he's already budgeted out what it would be like to buy every jersey that he wants to get.
Oh
he's
yeah.
like, I have a goal.
Oh yeah,
That's the only reason he has a
that's,
job.
That's my exactly. I want to by the time I die, I want to have a really extensive jersey collection.
And then you're gonna get buried with all of them.
No, just the Canucks jersey. Just the Canucks jersey. I'm being
Bury
buried.
me, my
How-
Canucks.
I've made that very clear.
My
What?
How
Luongo
old are you?
jersey.
I am 19, sir.
Yeah, I used to be about that when
Yeah.
I was 19. Yeah.
He's
19,
like,
I
bury
was
me
like,
in my
what?
Luongo jersey.
Then-
What jersey
yes,
can I get
exactly.
this?
I actually don't own a Luongo jersey. Fun
Really?
fact.
So what's your Canucks go-to?
My only Canuck. I only have one of the main jerseys. That one is blank. It has the Canuck logo on it, but that's it. It doesn't have anything on the back. I do want to get Luongo on the back of it at some point. I haven't gotten around to it, and then get a Stanley Cup Finals patch for it.
We have a
because-
friend who's selling a bunch of jerseys right now.
Really.
Yeah, probably 50 plus jerseys.
Yeah, see, I want to
At
wait. I
discount
want to wait.
prices.
I want to wait
Yeah.
though. I want to get. My hope is that I would get it when I got other jerseys when I go to a game or something.
Yeah,
so you
for
know.
sure. Well,
like-
if you want to add to your collection, I know a guy.
Yeah, exactly. I have a Sharks jersey. I have a Martin Jones Sharks jersey, which I got because Martin Jones is North Vancouver kid. Love him. But you know, but okay. So
Got it.
we should touch quickly on the World Cup semis because they were last week. I think we should just talk about it for really briefly because it is old by this point. Canada beat Russia 5-2. Thoughts on the game? If you guys even watched the game, I don't know.
I
That's the one I didn't watch
that was.
because I knew it was gonna happen.
I see. I didn't. I knew what I thought
always
out of.
guess right.
I see. For me, actually, I mean, maybe that's just because my own team's involved. But I had there was the worry for me that Canada would lose that game because Russia is a good team. Is a very good team. I think they were the best they had the best chance of beating Canada out of any of the teams that made the semis. And for a while, Russia did have the lead. Canada scored the first goal, then Russia scored 2 in a row and made it 2-1. Yeah. So for a bit there, it looked like Russia was gonna take this because not only were they in the lead, Sergei Bobrovsky was having such a night. Like he was on the entire night, and even like those final 3 goals, that was because Canada just pressed on them, and they were taking it to him, and Bobrovsky just couldn't do anything about it. But that steals games. Good goaltending steals games. Same thing, and to lead right into the next game. That's basically what happened in the game between Europe and Sweden.
Is there any sort of bias in his statement of goaltending wins games?
There is plenty of bias, but
the goaltender.
For goal, I'm a goalie all the way.
Wait, is it goaltender or gold tender?
I always thought it was
they're going for the gold, right?
Well, no,
like
not in this case.
Bond?
Not in this case. There is no gold medal.
M64?
There is no gold medal in this. It's only a trophy.
First place is gold.
But there's no medals being handed out. There is no bronze medal game.
It's gold in your mind.
It is gold in my mind, of course. Even though the trophy's made of like some weird thing.
Yeah.
It's one of the weirdest trophies I've ever seen. If you haven't seen the World Cup trophy, go look it up. It's pretty fun. It's an interesting design. I'm not really sure what it's supposed to be. Some people have likened it to a tissue box, to a really tall tissue box. Because you look at the top, it just goes like this, and you just like pull out a tissue there.
Hey,
pretty cool.
Yeah.
Well, it was designed by Frank Gehry.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
That's why it's a little interesting and doesn't look like a cup.
How did he get that job? That's
Well,
cool.
he's Canadian. He's Toronto. He's a Canadian.
Right.
If you're Canadian, you design the trophy.
Basically, only Canadians are allowed to design hockey trophies. Apparently, I mean,
As long as they keep winning.
Not the Stanley Cup. We haven't won that in a while.
Yeah, but there's
Yeah, but do you guys even
Canadian
try to play
players-
for that anymore?
No,
Like,
excuse me.
It seems like they don't really care anymore. They're just like, whatever.
What do you guys know? You've been to Cup finals recently. I have too, for the most part. I was actually more recent than you, because you were 2010.
2010.
You were 2010, 2011, and then 20
whatever
last
what
one.
was that was.
2016. 2016.
Wow.
That was
if you
just
talk about Philly West, aka the LA Kings, then I got a few more recent ones too.
LA, no, you can't count that.
Yeah.
Okay, whatever. I didn't like LA, so that's probably why I don't feel like that counts.
Yep.
But quickly to Europe, Halak stole the show in that game. It really was like Sweden had control of for most of the game, and then Europe got good goals when they needed, and Tatar won it in overtime.
Yep. Islanders got to be excited for this upcoming season.
They really do. I mean, yeah, that's going to be...
Aren't they always excited for the upcoming season?
I mean, not the fans who
say
sit
that.
in the obstructed seats, but, that's another story entirely.
Yeah.
Because
That's loyalty.
that is loyalty. But have you heard what the CEO of the company of the people who run the Islanders said about that?
Mm-mm.
He said, "Oh, well, these people can watch games. Something around the lines of people can watch games in many different ways than just looking at the ice. You can watch it on your phone or the jumbotron." It's like, yeah, because that's why people pay $40 to go see a game.
Yeah.
It's so they can it's so they can watch the game on their
I pay for
phone
more
on
expensive
time
hot dogs
delay.
and more expensive beer. It's the only reason I'm here.
Yeah, basically, right? But, at the very least, it's not like they're just, not telling you it's obstructed. They tell you it's obstructed. I mean, it's in ways that's kind of it's obstructed when you buy those seats. You shouldn't expect anything more. Although they are apparently already trying to move out of that building.
Yeah, no, I heard it. Yeah, I heard about
They're
that
good.
for sure.
I think the latest rumor is they're going to build, as they're working with the Mets to build an arena in Queens right next to Citi Field, is what I'm hearing.
Cool.
I mean, some people want them to move back to the Nassau County building because they renovated it, but it's too small now. It's the problem. They took out a bunch of seats purposefully because they didn't think any.
Took them out, and now they can't put them back in.
Well, they can't because they renovated the whole building around that concept of making it smaller and a smaller venue.
The problem is
They would have to
they're
literally
moving now, is the problem.
deconstruct to put it
Just
back.
get a couple folding chairs.
They're
This
they're
isn't
a winning
basketball,
team now, so they get
unfortunately.
a lot of people in the seats now. Unfortunately, if it was 5 or 6 years ago, they could have gotten away with it.
Yeah.
They weren't filling
That
the
being
stands.
said, I have seen some of the games in their new building, and it looks like they're still they're not only are they doing well fan wise, it looks like the games are entertaining at the very least.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I think they made a few errors in the beginning of the year, like they tried to change the goal horn to some really annoying thing that sounded like that's supposed to sound like the subway. And then they got rid of the mascot briefly before bringing him back. And they've made a couple errors at the beginning of the year, but they've done well since.
Yeah, but now they don't have Matt Martin.
They don't have
That's
Matt
gonna
Martin.
hurt.
We'll see. He's going to Toronto now, so
Yeah.
I
Go
mean,
Toronto.
You're cheering for Toronto specifically because Matt Martin.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's sick.
All right. That being said, in terms of the World Cup, according to some of the people who are there covering the event, the fans have not taken to it as well as it seemed like they would. I mean, nobody said it was...
In terms of attendance?
In terms of attendance, and yeah, really attendance is the main thing. So for a lot of the games, I'm kicking myself for not going to Toronto because most of the games that weren't involving Canada, I think you could buy tickets for that game for as low as $7.
Nice.
What?
Some people were selling them on StubHub for about $7 or $6 or something. For comparison, vitamin water in the Air Canada Centre costs $7. So for the price of one of their beverages, you could get into the game.
Nice.
Because
So it's like either go to the game or don't drink.
It's nice for people like us who can't afford to go to games, but not nice for the NHL. That's not good. Even though, I mean, they're resale tickets, but still, you want the building to be
Not that I
full.
can't afford to go to the game. I just can't afford to get there.
Yeah.
For sure. I mean, I wish I had gone, for sure. I wish I had taken time out to go to Toronto. I assumed it was going to be, all the tickets were going to be crazy expensive.
I would
And
sell
nobody
my
was
whole
gonna-
jersey closet if I wanted to.
Oh, yeah. But yeah, it's like, man, I am kicking myself for not going to those games because you look at the photos people are sending from the press box of the games, like seats empty. Even the World Cup final game
That's
the
a
other
bummer.
day, the seats were empty. Yeah, it's so bad in ways it's bad for the game that this many people are not showing up.
Mm-hmm.
It's not bad in money wise because all of these are resale tickets. So the tickets have already been paid for. It's not like they didn't make any money. It's just bad that
you gotta
people
start
aren't showing
somewhere.
up.
Yeah.
I think once they do cancel, if they do cancel NHL participation in the Olympics, I believe that it'll pick up.
But there's been
a
some
lot
interesting
more.
performances that, if nothing else, will spur conversation for the rest of
Well, like-
the NHL season, maybe just in passing. Because just going on here kind of briefly and looking at some of the previews, noting that Carey Price right now is 4-0 now.
Yeah.
It says he only has 1.5 goals against average and a .95
Yeah, so
save.
from what I have gathered,
So like that stuff to be like, look at like this performance in a single national event. I mean, it just opens the way maybe for more.
yeah. See, from what I've gathered, there have been three major things that have killed the tournament in terms of popularity at this point. Which is number one is the U.S. went out very quickly. A lot of the people who go to this game, especially because it's in Toronto, a lot of the people coming across are Americans. And my assumption, there's no guarantee that this is correct, but what I believe is that a lot of Americans bought a bunch of tickets for these games, first with like the World Cup finals, on the assumption that what's going to happen is America's going to go to the one semi, Canada goes to the other, they meet in the final, and most of those tickets were bought up by Americans. But when they finished 0-2, people were like, "Why stay? Let's just go back home."
Yeah.
Because it saves you all that money on hotels and everything. Why bother going? Let's just try and resell the tickets and go home.
No, yeah.
So that I feel like that's what probably most of those seats would be filled
I
with
have to
American
agree with
fans
that,
had
probably.
it been Canada USA or even Canada North America for that matter. And
Right.
that goes into number two. North America didn't make it into the semis, and out of any team besides Canada, that would have been the one that brought most of the people back in.
I mean,
right?
us Americans, we had to get back home to watch football.
Oh yeah, because football's back, right, boys? I mean, I don't really care.
Yeah, it is.
I'm not an NFL fan, but I enjoy it. I enjoy the commercials at the Super Bowl. I'm one of those people. And then number three was the fact that Europe made the final, because Europe, out of all of the teams, had the least fans around them.
Mm-hmm.
Like from some of the media who are there, they've said that they haven't seen they've seen basically no Team Europe jerseys or Europe shirts at these events. So
Which is understandable because Europe's all the way over there. Like
Well,
Canada, America,
but even-
they're real close.
But even
They
by
can-
comparison, Sweden, the Swedish fans showed up in droves for
Wow.
this tournament. Like, there apparently one group of Swedish fans down in like the lower bowl got up on his chair, like on the arms of his chair, and started doing like the clap, and started like just going clap, like slow clap, and then getting it to go faster, and got the whole building going for a game. Like it was not even. I don't think it was even
a great
Sweden
fan base.
game, was it? I don't remember.
Well, Sweden.
You never
well,
know
The
with the
Swedish
Swedes.
fans
The economy in
The
Sweden
Swedish fans were fun.
is good, and they can afford to.
They're like, what?
to come here.
The Swedish fans were fun. The Finnish fans were also very fun, even though their team didn't do too well. The Russian fans all showed up. And that was the thing, is all the other European countries that had teams there, their fans showed up and they made it. And they had, in ways, they were getting more into the games than the Canadian fans or the American fans were.
But, I mean, it makes sense.
It makes sense. It does make sense, but it's too
You can
bad
have
that
like a
Europe
bunch of
killed
people come from one country just to root for one player on the team Europe.
It's hard. It's hard. Most of the fans are just fans who have a player who already live there and have a player on that team or something like that, right? I mean, in my experience, I went to the Vancouver Olympics. The Switzerland fans, when their team was actually there, they were the funnest fans at the building. I know funnest is not a word, but it is a word I would use to describe.
It's a
the
word
team
now.
That's how fun they
It's
were.
a Swiss word.
Well, yeah, because like I went, and
That's
this
the
isn't
funnest.
and this isn't just at hockey either. Obviously, the Canadian fans outnumbered everybody, so they were the most loud. But after that, after that, the Americans, because also they showed up like crazy, because it's right across the border. But then after Canada and the U.S., the Switzerland fans were so fun at those games. Like they had like giant cowbells. They brought these giant, huge cowbells into the building, and
That's what it's all about.
And going nuts the whole game. Yeah, it was so fun. They made the building more fun, and that was really cool. And that was
That's
something
good to see. At least you got that.
There's something cool to see. So, the World Cup is going to be done by the time we record next. What were some of the things that worked and some of the things that didn't work about the World Cup? Regardless, ignoring the on-ice, mainly ignoring the on-ice product, but more so just overall in general. What went well, like in terms of the formatting and everything, and what didn't work?
I think that the thing that went most right was like team unity stuff, like North America. That whole thing was that grabbed multiple fan bases, pulled them together. Team Europe was a little bit, like you said, it's the least amount of viewership.
Yeah.
But I think that was a great idea to pull all of these talents from different places, put them together since they didn't have full teams. Canada's always strong. U.S. was kind of probably one of the downfalls of the tournament just because they allowed it to be built improperly, I think. But I think a lot of the teams like had big fan bases. There was multiple teams to root for. There's a lot of underdogs, a lot of stuff that I don't know how to describe it.
Yeah.
It brought people together.
Yeah, exactly. The stakes weren't so high that everybody was just freaking out. It was just like a fun tournament.
That's true.
Like
That's
this is a gap filler
That'll
too.
be fun.
You know what I mean? A time where we don't usually have hockey yet. We get a nice little tournament.
And on that note, that's why I was thinking it was just a great just bit of exposure to give some momentum to the NHL, which lately has been gaining a little bit more traction towards the end of its season when it gets exciting, or at least in this area, obviously for the first time ever for the Sharks to get that in Northern California, just a little bit of attention at least.
Yeah.
It gives like that buffer, like that ramp up to get a few more people talking about hockey in general to maybe pay attention a little bit longer. I think it's a sign that like the NHL is growing, which in turn would make the World Cup more effective because when America's a little bit more vested in it. That's probably the biggest single market.
Oh yeah,
viewership.
Far and away.
Yeah, that's why I thought another thing that was good about it was that you had these teams able to just kind of come together too, but that it was right before NHL, so it gets people talking. It's like a little bit of momentum.
This is very much an NHL tournament.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the thing, and so you're talking about those players. It gives people something to write about also at other times. How they're moving back and forth between teams.
Yeah.
The Sharks played the other night.
Yeah.
They had
the preseason going.
Yeah.
The preseason against Vancouver. That was, and the Sharks took it to them. We won't go into that too much because preseason has started. That's the other thing. Not a lot of people realize that preseason has already started because of
Sharks
the World
didn't win
Cup.
until overtime.
They didn't win until overtime, but they were out shooting them like crazy. Vancouver was somehow managed to be in it, but that was because of goaltending. Yeah, Richard Bachman and Michael Gartig were the two guys who split the time in that game. In terms of the World Cup, though, I think in ways I was disappointed at just how many people were just saying, oh, because it's a Mickey Mouse tournament, people don't care. It's not it's not important. But for me, it's that idea of more hockey. I'm a lot of people, especially in the U.S., more so than Canada, are like multi-sport people. Mm-hmm. So of course, football is going to take precedent, or basketball, or whatever. But for me, I'm a one-sport guy. Hockey's really all I.
Unfortunately, play a good amount of lacrosse up there too.
Yes, yeah. But even still, not to the same extent as hockey. It's just for me, and for me especially, it's just the idea. I'm a one-sport person. All I really follow is hockey on an avid level, So having more hockey, to me, I don't care if it's maybe not if it's a weird tournament. I don't care. More hockey is more hockey, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
I think in terms of the next tournament, though, I think what they should do is they should get rid of Team Europe. I think they shouldn't use Team Europe next year. I think they should go to another international country because that's what's going to make people legitimize it more. I think the fact that Europe and North America are in there, that even though they were fun and experimental, I think that is a lot of the reason why people were more tentative to give it a more serious thought. But if they go with 8 national teams, they're going to be. I think people will take it more seriously next time.
I think
Yeah,
though
you should have
you
that many
can't get rid of
players.
Team Europe, but they're at least second place.
They're good. I mean, that's
Yeah.
not the issue, though. They're good. The problem is, I think people would take more to it, would take it more seriously if it was a team
So-
Switzerland
Because then
or
you
a
can
team
start to
Slovakia.
compare it to something like the FIFA,
Like,
because
or-
where there's
exactly.
no, unions like that.
And that's the other thing I want to go into really quickly for what they should do next time. How FIFA works. I think they should take a couple more ideas from FIFA World Cup. Like how FIFA works is you have to qualify for the world for that tournament by winning all these individual tournaments.
Yeah.
I think there's a North American and a European. I think that's how it works. I feel like they should do that for the next World Cup. In the summer, they should host a European tournament between all these other countries, and the best teams from that tournament are the ones that make it in
Right.
to the World Cup, because that will not only will that get people more interested in it across the way, it'll get people it'll make it more it'll legitimize it more because you'll have people,
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
because you are fighting for your spot in that tournament. Obviously, like some countries will make it in every time, like Canada, the US, because there is no one else. But I think just the idea of having like a European qualifying tournament would make it more interesting, and as well as also making people bid on who gets the tournament versus having just picking who,
Yeah,
who
the only
gets
thing
it,
that
or
would do
hosting
is
it in Canada
make-
or the US every year.
We just making those groups like they did this time more difficult because you can't make them with any assumptions.
Yeah.
Even though the fact still exists that Canada, Russia, and U.S. are powerhouses, even though it didn't play out that way exactly, you're still going to have that. It's a good point, and I would love to see that. The backing some of those countries will need to catch
Yeah,
up.
I think the final thing that needs to change, change as in keep going forward, is they need to do this every 4 years. They can't do what they did with the last one. This is the first World Cup in 12 years.
Yeah.
They can't go another 12 years before hosting us because it's going to have the same problem. If you
Yeah.
keep hosting it every 4 years, like the regular World Cup or the Olympics or any other major tournament, tournament that you do over a period of time, you have to keep going with it. You can't just take a break from it. You gotta keep going every 4 years. Keep doing it.
I guess that's why I
Because it'll
emphasize
get
so
more.
much when I say like just having this in general is cool because it is so far and few between.
Exactly, that's the thing. I'm sure when they first announced the FIFA World Cup back in how many years, probably like over centuries ago by now. I don't remember the year. I know it was
Soccer.
700 years
I know it was
ago.
I know it was 1800. I know
Sports
it's
is
corrupt
the dawn of
FIFA.
ages.
I know
That's
FIFA
like
World
correct.
Cup came out in pretty sure like the 1800s.
Yeah, like 12,
late 1800s.
1286, I think.
So yeah,
I think
probably.
Jesus was on the first
Team, right?
No, it was-
like,
Yeah. No, he was probably
Jerusalem
gone.
team.
He was probably gone by then. But still, like the World Cup is old, like an old tournament. I'm sure when that first came out, people said, "Oh, that's going to be stupid too." People probably didn't take to it right
They
away.
used the word stupid back in
But you
the
know what I mean, like, people are-
60s.
But people would people wouldn't take. I'm
12
sure people thought it was
never
silly.
happened.
It was probably silly to them. But now
That's the
it's
thing.
like the most important
It could happen.
sports tournament, most popular sports tournament in the world.
I mean, doesn't everything start out as a silly idea?
There you go.
The
pretty
internet?
much. Everything starts out as a
You wanna
drunk,
connect
as a
a bunch
drunken
of
boast. But yeah, I think
Computers.
eventually it's going to get to the point. Maybe not in our lifetime, but at some point this tournament's going to be an important tournament. It's going to be
Be great.
a major hockey
Yeah.
tournament. It's just going to take the importance of keep rolling with it over time.
Yeah.
Speaking of centuries old, the NHL next year, this is going to be their 100th anniversary coming up in
Nice.
2017. They're not. I think the official 100th anniversary isn't until late next year, but they're going to be doing like a whole celebration tournament, celebration events with it. Like they're doing the Centennial Classic. I think is going to be in Toronto between Detroit and the Leafs.
Nice.
Gretzky's like the
They
official
better wear
ambassador.
some sweaters, just like some old school.
Oh, I'm
cuts.
sure. I'm sure.
Jerseys.
Instead,
love
you know what?
this.
It can't even be like jersey material. It's got to be wool, like the
And-
old jerseys. It's got to be a wool sweater. Cause
Yeah,
that's what
get
it
some
is.
of those-
No,
And like
No-
no,
no
helmets,
masks.
Yeah.
no helmets,
no
and
helmets,
Sherwood.
no masks. Yeah,
Straight,
Sherwood's-
no curves.
Yeah.
No
Yeah,
No
curves.
curves,
no
no
tape.
curves are
Some- maybe
evil.
some people figure out. Yeah,
no curves. Curves are evil.
we ought to do that too.
Like really weak shoulder pads, all made of leather and everything. You know.
Yeah, we should
Yeah.
do something like that for an SRJC throwback
Well,
game.
yeah, we have
Pick
to.
a
I
game
think.
we could
I think
wear
we
the
should
old
wear throwback
jerseys,
jerseys.
and
yeah.
I'll come out with flat Sherwoods and just go to town.
Yeah.
It would be fun. I mean, I think that would be fun. Aside from the idea of you can't go into a game without masks now, that's
Yeah.
gonna be bad. But I think other than that, that would be kind of cool to see if players just came out in like really old gear and played a game like that. I mean, but that's what we have the alumni game for. They
Yeah.
don't really hit much in those games, if you've noticed.
Um,
And I think some of the I have seen some of the old goalies wear a regular, like the old Jason mask.
Yeah, for
Even
sure, yeah.
even if it's not the thing anymore, they still wear them because they don't care. Those old guys,
those
even
masks are sick.
I mean, those old guys can still shoot though. That's the
No.
thing.
Yeah.
Like people think, oh, because they're old, they can't do it anymore. But they were still NHL caliber. They
Yeah.
they could definitely still take a nice wicked wrist shot at and break some teeth. You know.
Yeah.
Wicked.
All right. Why don't we? For most people here, you've got your fantasy hockey drafts coming up.
Yeah.
At the very least, you've probably already done it. Maybe you're doing it this weekend, like we are. I think.
And I am a learner.
You are. We have a
have a
beginner
newbie.
here.
Yeah.
I'm still pretty novice at it myself.
Because my dad was
help
going to
you.
teach me how
Yeah.
to do fantasy hockey, right?
Along with how to shave.
Well-
spend some quality time.
We're all gonna teach.
You
Okay.
can't teach him how to shave.
Yeah. No.
I don't know how.
You don't know how.
Never learned.
Never learned from his own father.
Never had to.
So Trevor set us up something fun. We're gonna do a fantasy draft in the show today.
So I got some players here.
Yeah, so what we're looking at here is basically a top 40 at each position without, except for goalies, of course. Basically, we're going to draft a starting lineup, center, left wing, right wing, 2D, and a goalie. We're going to do a snake draft, which is pretty common in most fantasy leagues.
Why'd it have to be
Snake
snakes?
draft. Snake draft. For people who don't know that term, is just the first person who goes in the first round. In the next round, they start at the back. So
Right.
it just go. They just flip. They just flip the
So,
order.
For example, if we have 4 people, if Lachlan starts, I'm the last pick. And
You get
then
the first
I
pick
get the
as
first
well.
pick in the next round. It goes back in
And
a
then,
way, so
yeah.
it's like
It's
like a snake.
It's
Like a snake.
Yeah.
Oh, I would
'Cause-
think you would just like keep it like going because if it bounce back and forth, then
No,
see,
that's a
See, the
circle.
reason they don't do that in fantasy hockey is because
Then-
otherwise one team would probably be very stacked because
Yeah.
the first team would always get the best choice of
Yeah, but if you
players.
cycled it continuously instead of moving back and forth.
See,
Right,
that would
then-
be a good
then
idea.
That's a good idea.
See, I like
but
that one.
That's also it takes.
It would take-
It's like it's a lot more brain power. A lot.
If you're like that
yeah.
middle pick, then
Yeah, and if you're in the
It's
middle
good.
pick, then it takes a lot.
You're
But
probably
eventually you'll
screwed.
get to first if you keep moving it.
eventually.
Right, for sure,
it just
but once
yeah.
you hit the
Okay.
end
All
of the
right. Well,
draft,
I'll trust
you get the
experience.
first
I
pick.
just
So
gotta
last
pose these
round.
questions.
So basically, this is where our armchair
Figure
GM
this out
role
here.
comes into play
Okay,
here.
so
I've always considered myself good at talent. I've learned in fantasy hockey, in my past fantasy hockey experiences, that I am not good at it whatsoever. So we'll see what we can do here, though.
Okay, so basically we're gonna just start. We're actually gonna start with Travis. I randomized the order. Travis,
Oh.
Did you?
You have earned the first pick.
Would you like to make a trade here, sir? I will trade you.
We will not be trading picks in this.
Aw, man.
I can give you like
I'm already
$2 million.
confused.
I can give
I'm
you
just
$2
kidding.
million in cash here.
No. All right.
He'll literally
First,
give you $2 million.
And no questions asked for that first
so Travis
overall,
gets
you know.
basically gets his choice of everybody here.
And we're
Oh,
picking,
man.
The
and we're
stakes are
picking a
high.
center. We're gonna pick a center, a left wing, a right wing, 2 defensemen, a goalie, and then are we doing a sleeper or not?
We're gonna talk at the end about people who are
Okay,
left off.
so
the
just a
list.
starting lineup to keep it short, because
This-
otherwise
and
we'd be
this
here
is an
forever.
opportunity to talk about some people coming up this season, maybe
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
other
Give your
people
reasons
wouldn't.
why you're
Yeah,
picking this
exactly.
guy too.
All right,
Show
so let's
your
go.
work.
You're
all
going
right.
first.
Okay. Well,
First round draft pick.
you know, a lot of time the big debate is Crosby or Ovechkin, and I'm actually gonna step away from that.
Okay.
You're crazy.
I am crazy,
He's
You're
not.
crazy.
but I'm gonna do it anyways. And you know, some people might not like this pick, but I'm gonna pick Patrick Kane.
Okay.
He
Wow.
was the leading scorer last season in the league.
And he doesn't
been,
even try anymore.
He's so good.
He's
It's amazing what
Like hanging out, and then he's so fast. You're like,
it's just amazing how much raw talent he has as a player.
So
That's the
raw.
So
It's so raw.
And he has
Think you're unbelievable.
three Stanley Cups.
Yeah.
So
and probably more to come.
Alrighty, so
Yeah.
Patrick Kane is off the list.
all right.
Actually, we're gonna let's just go this way. So Tommy, you are next.
Oh man.
You get double pick though here coming up. So.
Oh man, still. I hate that.
so they say the best defense.
Actually,
is
you want
good
to trade?
Offense.
I'll trade you Kane for.
You're
a pick.
trading you want to trade your first overall pick. I feel like that's a bad idea.
Why is that a bad idea?
I'm just kidding.
Just
He's
'cause-
kidding. We're not trading picks.
Okay, I was like,
You pick
I
from the
don't.
list.
Well, for you it's a good idea.
You guys, we got a novice here. Let's keep it simple.
Well, I'm gonna grab Crosby just to make Lachlan upset.
Oh, it's not that big a deal.
Sure, it isn't. He's like,
Inside, he's like, God damn
all of a
it.
sudden his coffee just explodes.
I mean, if I'm going fourth, I assumed he was going to be gone anyway by that point.
Yeah.
There was no way he was going to be left to me.
All right, so Crosby off the list.
Off the list.
I'm excited about that. I've played 10 seasons of fantasy hockey. I've never once drafted Crosby.
Oh, yes,
And I've done very well for myself.
The expert here. Over
Well,
how many
I'm just
times
going
have
with
you won your
blind
league? Just out of
beginner's
curiosity.
luck.
How
many times have you won?
I've won about 3 or 4 times in the 10 years that I've done it. Our league, I've only won twice, I think.
The one year I took it seriously.
I don't think you've
finished
ever won since
fourth.
I've played.
Yeah. I
I've-
won. Oh, yeah. No, the first season that you played, I won the league.
Oh.
I played fantasy hockey twice, but I only took it really like super seriously the first time, and that time I finished fourth. So not bad for a first try.
Yeah. Pretty good. Alrighty, so I'm going to just go ahead and take Alex Ovechkin.
So yeah, so I'm stuck here. What do I do? Let's see. So I'm here at number 4. What do I do? See, I don't know. Let's see. I guess. Do I just keep going? No, I've got to take a forward here, don't I? I have to think about it because I
You don't
didn't.
have to
I
do
didn't.
it.
You're on the
honestly,
clock here.
Honestly, I'm the only one who didn't. I don't think looked at the sheet seriously and started thinking about strategy here.
Just so you know, this all goes out the window after we're done.
I mean,
so,
obviously.
don't worry about it.
Okay,
Pick somebody
so-
you want to talk about.
He's stressed.
Okay. With the 4th overall selection in the fantasy draft, Lachlan's team selects from the Ottawa Senators Erik
There you
Karlsson.
go, that's a good pick.
All right.
Because
He's-
I mean, he's a great defenseman. He's a bit of a liability sometimes in his own defensive zone because he is a guy who likes to force the offense a lot more.
But fantasy hockey, that
But
counts
how
for
can
nothing.
Erik
So,
Karlsson is one of the best
Yeah.
probably the best defenseman in the league for sure.
I don't
in
know,
a lot of
Burns.
cases,
Burns is very good as well.
in a lot of cases, he goes, very quickly in most rounds because most fantasy leagues they take defensive points into account as more.
Interesting.
So if you can get a guy that's putting up 80, 90 points a year as a defenseman,
Yeah.
like that's
And in
just-
ways,
that's a
in ways, I
grand
wonder.
slam.
That's
in
unreal.
ways, I gotta say,
Yeah.
it's also maybe due because he's playing on a team like Ottawa where they don't score as much.
Right.
Like where he don't score as much. I mean, if he was stuck on a team like, if you say playing on a team like Chicago, I feel like he'd be getting a lot less opportunities
Oh,
to
yeah,
go
for sure, yeah.
play out there. So the fact that he's playing on a not as offensively powered team means he's scoring a lot more, and that's why I like him as a good pick. Now I've got.
You got
So
another
now I
good
go
one.
right back to me.
Yep.
Okay, I guess I'm gonna take let's see. Let's go the forward here. I'm
He's not
gonna.
taking a goalie. I
Whoa.
cannot believe it.
I didn't see this coming.
Well, I have a goalie in mind, but I'm not too worried about him getting taken. I mean, I feel like somebody here might do it on purposely take him. But I'm willing to risk that.
His name is burning
even
a
if
hole
they don't
in my
take
eyes
him.
right now.
Let's go. I'm gonna go with I'm gonna take a risk here, and I'm gonna go. Actually, not. No, I know who I'm going with. I'm gonna go with Tarasenko, Vladimir Tarasenko,
Alrighty.
for my pick. He's very underrated. A lot of people
That's true.
rank him like it's not that since he play. I think it's also because he plays in St. Louis. Like it's not always the top market talking point in a lot of cases. So he does so well. He's always really exciting to watch. He's an exceptional player. Doesn't get talked about enough, and he is on the NHL 17 cover this year.
Yeah. Well,
So now it's.
I didn't vote for him.
He's he's.
Well, of course
coming
you
But he's
did.
a
You
great
voted
player.
for Pavelski.
He's a great player, though.
He's really coming into his own in St. Louis. He's really the go-to guy now.
Oh, yeah.
They used to have a kind of a roster of well
Oshie.
balanced.
Now that Backus and
Backus.
Oshie.
I still wanted
I'm-
a John Scott 2017
I remember.
cover.
Oh yeah, I remember when the killer line in St. Louis was Backus, Oshie, and David Perron.
Yeah.
Who now he's playing somewhere. I forget because he's
Pittsburgh last time I checked, but he might
possibly.
have
I think
gone
he might be.
since.
I think he might be right on that. But all I know is he just hasn't panned out the way the other two have.
Oh yeah. Alrighty, so it comes back to me.
Yep.
For the snake style. I read an article actually today that said that it was from January, and it said that in the past 5 seasons up to that point in January, the highest point scorer for the last 5 seasons was number 5 on the list of centers here, Mr. Claude Giroux. More than Crosby, more than Ovechkin,
Where's
more
Claude
than
Giroux
Kane.
on this list here? Oh, there it is.
Some of that's due to injury on their parts, but he had 17 more points than anybody else at that point in the season for the past 5 years.
And of course, this isn't because you're a Philadelphia Flyers fan at all,
Yeah,
right?
no, not at all.
Not at all. I didn't think so.
I just
I
wanted to.
didn't think so either.
I wanted to justify.
I know you hate the Flyers with a burning passion.
They're the worst.
You like Pittsburgh, right?
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
why don't you say out loud right now how much you love the Pittsburgh Penguins?
Nope, you're next.
I would love to hear that, actually. No, I just wanted to add, Drew just has filthy hands.
Yeah.
He really does.
Yeah, I saw a video of him the other day. just
Also, very
walking-
underrated now.
walking
Yeah.
goals.
He for a while there, he was one of the most talked about guys.
I think just because
but
too
now-
many other new people have to keep taking the airwaves. So yeah,
Yep.
great player. I'm gonna have to go with Connor McDavid. I just want to see someone explode.
That's
someone
a-
young, lot of.
No one would doubt you for taking that pick. That's a great choice.
I'm doubting.
You doubt really?
I mean, he's just gonna.
No,
he really
no,
didn't
I'm
get
saying
hurt
I'm picking Drew Doughty.
or anything.
Oh,
No, I'm just kidding.
That was
I'm
pretty
not,
good.
I'm not taking that.
But
Yeah.
Tish.
All right. Oh, yeah. So you picked McDavid. Okay.
So my turn.
Yeah, it's your turn.
I'm gonna go with my boy Brent Burns.
Nice.
Once again,
Choice.
not because you're a Sharks fan,
Dang
just
you.
because
It's
because
another great thing to keep an eye out for, people who have forward status and forward and defensive
Yeah.
status in fantasy hockey. If you slot them into D spots and they're playing forwards, it still counts as points.
You can do that?
Points in
you could
leagues.
what?
Yeah.
I didn't know you could do
it's,
that.
It's still a pretty rare thing to see
I
on
think
the list.
I think in all the
but,
leagues I played in, you're not allowed to do that.
Yeah.
Forwards can only play forward, defense can only play defense. Then you got the utility, which is your wild card.
Yeah, they have multi listings, so on ESPN for the most part. So Brent Burns is a good one for that. Bufflin is the other one who generally slots into that position. There's very few people who do that. So if you get a chance at either of those, you can jump up in points.
Well,
keep an
I
eye out
could
for it.
Now, okay, now it's your turn again. Oh man, I don't see. This is why I don't like snake drafts. Cause I'm stuck here forever now.
All right. Well,
Yeah,
this is
you have to wait 3 whole picks.
this is.
That's hey. Well, that's a
Got to
while
do
when you. Oh, well, no
two
matter. Well,
back to
here's the
back.
thing. No matter how many people you're playing with, because even if it gets shorter, there's still play. Now you start thinking higher up in the draft all the time. So you're still gonna start losing out on players that you like because. So I know probably
matter
by the
where
time it
you're
gets
at.
around to me that I'm still gonna lose out on the guys that I want.
I'm gonna
here.
take Holtby.
There you go. First goalie off the list.
So why Braden Holtby over say like a Carey Price, for example? Why would you
Yeah.
pick Holtby?
'Cause he's-
They're both on Team Canada, but Price.
Well, we're
is
talking
right
about
over there.
NHL now.
Price
No,
is on fire
Still, but
right
the same
now,
thing.
too.
So yeah, why
Well-
take Price though? Why take Holtby instead of Price? Just what's your reasoning behind that for starters?
Price will get hurt.
There you go.
That's true.
That's the thing though. Price
And-
wasn't
Watch that
actually-
And I'm a lot of it's also just going off the season he had last year. Pretty good.
Washington
I
over
will say
Montreal.
yeah, Washington is probably going to have a much better season than Montreal.
Absolutely.
They've done a much better job.
Especially 'cause
building
management
a
in
defensive
Montreal's-
core, I think, in Washington to play in front of them.
Yeah, not to mention Montreal has just lost their minds completely
Yeah.
in the last little bit.
Yeah.
Made some
Alrighty.
really dumb moves. All
I'll
right.
back you up on that.
Yeah, I agree for the most part. I just wanted to see what his reasoning behind it was.
Tommy,
You're
you
up.
are
I'm gonna take Joe Pavelski because he's a
Nice.
quiet grinder.
I don't even.
Yeah,
Where is
he's
he?
a great player. Not
he's
only
listed in right wing.
Oh, he's
He's
okay.
actually the second listed right wing. I love how
Mm.
much credit they're giving him.
Well, no,
And
he is very
yeah,
good. I
he's
mean,
so
he
good.
led he was like. Not only is he the leader with the captaincy, he's also definitely
it-
the leader on the
He's
points.
been
So
very
besides
consistent
maybe
for-
Couture.
And, you know, in the,
For a
past
long
year, he
time.
made
He's
it.
been very consistent for a long time, and they
Like-
haven't given him the credit.
Once
in the
again, it's
same-
one of
Like
those things
since
that he was underrated
since
until
I
he
started
got that
watching him
scene.
when he came in the league, like he's just been he's getting better and better and better and better
the
and
problem
better.
is-
He does.
And
He
like
literally keeps getting better.
For Pavelski, he's always been behind Thornton and Marlowe. Whenever people talk about the Sharks, the first people they talk about are Joe Thornton, Patrick Marlowe. But now that he's the captain, he gets noticed a lot more, and that's been huge for him.
Right, and they're finally bringing him up in the
I
standings.
just love the way he plays. That's the one thing I know for sure. Having gone a couple games past season, see the guy play and just he absolutely doesn't really acknowledge.
he does everything
all
right.
Yeah, kind of. He gets a lot of, physical chirping. In
I
his
just
direction,
realized
so to
I'm-
speak, and just plays hard, makes shit happen.
So-
Shift, even not on his shift, that is.
Oh, so what
You
I'm
know.
realizing here is I'm the only person who
Go
hasn't
for
taken a
momentum.
center or a right wing.
I took 2 centers.
Oh no, I took a right wing. I took Tarasenko. Never mind.
Oh yeah, but
I haven't taken this.
Pavelski has right wing status, so you're good to go there.
Yeah, there we go. So I'm the only one without a center here.
Yeah, okay.
Perfect.
So I was
That's
just
great.
putting
I don't
McDavid
have
as
to worry
my
about
left
anyone
wing.
here.
I mean, I figured that's possible.
I will leave that alone then.
Oh right. Yeah.
Wait, are we allowed to do that?
What?
Too late now.
Okay. Okay. What do we got here?
He took 2 centers.
You took 2 centers.
Yeah. Well,
did?
technically.
You have to
3.
blur that out.
You took
Yeah.
McDavid and who? Wait, who else did you
He has
take?
McDavid, Crosby, and Pavelski now, right?
You took McDavid and Crosby.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, whatever.
Well, thank you. I was gonna take.
Feel free.
I was
Take-
gonna take
take who you
McDavid.
want.
I was
No one
gonna
stopped
take
me,
McDavid.
and it's
Take
already.
what I want.
Wait, did you already go?
It's already
No,
in
not yet.
pencil,
It's
dude.
my turn now.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you said it sounded like okay.
And,
Sounds like
you know,
passing
this
me
is
over.
this is a very loose draft. We're not super. We're not gonna get crazy. About
Lockman's
it, so.
taking this hecka serious, dude.
Well, because
Alrighty.
I'm competitive. I will say I'm very
like it.
competitive.
Well, it's keeping me on my toes.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna go a little bit further down the list here. I'm gonna take my first defenseman. I'm gonna go with somebody who has been super solid, but very much off the radar. Oliver Ekman-Larsson. from
I had a
Arizona.
feeling that's who it was.
I had
gonna
I thought you were gonna go somewhere else in that
Maybe
range.
eventually.
On a
Right.
similar note, I was like considering like Kuznetsov, like kind of in a.
All right, so I guess I'm on the. It's my turn here.
Yeah.
Okay, so I've got a decision to make on the left wing, but I'll go with my first pick, which I know I'm going to take. I'm going to finish out my defense here. I'm taking PK Subban because absolutely, there's no reason why I can't take PK Subban. He is a fantastic player. The
See how
only
he does in Nashville.
if PK, yeah, I think he's going to do really well in Nashville, especially because here's the other thing. One of the other guys I would have taken if Subban had been gone, I would have gone same area as you. I would have gone with Roman Josi because he also a very underrated defenseman.
Sure, yeah.
Excellent. PK Subban, that was the dumb call Montreal made. I don't know why they would do such a thing. Why they would do that. That was a terrible
Just
call.
walking off the deep end.
And I tell you
Couple
now,
knuckleheads, huh?
having PK Subban on that
They're
team
being silly, I'll tell you that.
makes them that much more of a Stanley Cup contender this year for
Personally,
sure.
I'm a bigger fan of Shea Weber, so I get it. But
I think Shea Weber's. Oh, I love Shea
Yeah.
Weber too. He's just the age, mainly
Oh,
the
yeah,
age,
for
and
sure.
also, I mean, who's gonna win you a Stanley Cup down the road here? Are you gonna win with Subban or Weber more
we'll
likely?
see, I guess.
We will see. Nashville, but
Yeah.
all right. So now on my other pick. So now I have another pick to make here.
Yes, you do.
Let's see. I'm feeling I'm gonna wait on the centerman. I'm gonna go to left wing. There are a few guys I like. There's a couple guys I like on here, but I am going to. I think I'm gonna take a bit of a. Nope. Yeah, I'm gonna go with Artemi Panarin.
Nice.
He had a good rookie year. That could, who knows? Maybe he's a one-hit wonder, but we shall see. He seemed pretty good last season. I don't see any reason. He won Calder, if I do believe. He won it over McDavid. He won it over Eichel and Gostisbehere.
Yeah.
So I mean, why not take him? I think he's a good risk. I want a younger, faster team.
Great stuff.
All right.
Alrighty, so I'm up next, and I am having a hard time deciding where I want to go with this. Let's see. All right, I'll go goalie just for fun. It's,
So much fun.
Yeah, just
Well,
for fun.
so much
You
fun.
daredevil.
Let's take number 2 off the list, and I'm gonna go with Jonathan Quick, just for sheer consistency purposes. He always shows up, always has a great season. Hasn't had any down years in the past 5 seasons.
I will say I don't think he was as good last year as people took him to
Right,
be.
but also the Kings just in front of him weren't as good. So,
Mm.
you know, if he consistently put up the same numbers that he did from previous seasons, maybe a couple less wins,
Yeah.
it's still, I like my odds in that situation.
All right.
I'm gonna go goalie 2.
The goalie 2 was already taken. That's Jonathan Quick. Yeah.
You're punny, Roosh.
He's incredibly
And I'm
funny.
kind of between.
Which is why he's great at crosswords. So
Ben
go
Bishop
do his
just for
crossword on
pure
Oakley.
performance
this
and
isn't mine.
Yeah, I know, but you're good at crosswords. So I'm just there was a crossword right there.
Yeah.
You do
so I'm either
you
Ben
make
Bishop or we're thinking Pekka Rinne here. I just saw some good things from him. Even though they got taken out, they meaning Nashville, by the Sharks.
Yeah.
A lot of potential, young, and kind of a tall, just expansive goalie. So I think I'm going to do, that being said, Ben Bishop.
That's a good call. Ben Bishop, I mentioned this before we started filming the show. I took Ben Bishop in my first fantasy year on waivers, and he was amazing. He was the best pickup. He was the best pickup of the year
Yeah.
for sure. That I think any of the teams made.
That will not happen in our league.
Bishop will be gone by that point. Well, yeah, because now he's known. Now he's good.
Yeah.
Somebody actually I think drafted him and then dropped him onto waivers, and I took him
Nice.
because one of my goalies got
Watching
hurt
those
early
wires.
Alrighty. Bruce, you are up.
All
on.
right.
Twice here.
I'm going to go with, I already drafted a right wing, but I'm picking another right wing.
Go for it.
When in
I know
Rome.
where he's going.
You know where I'm going?
I left him on the table for you.
Thank you.
Which one?
Getting Wayne Simmons.
Of course, you're going with Wayne Simmons.
That was a gentleman move on your part.
Yeah. It won't
I
go
will
that-
say,
won't
I
go
think
that way
is
on
Wayne.
Sunday.
I didn't.
He's going to be my first pick overall.
I will say, is it just me or is Wayne Simmons ranked relatively high? Like,
Oh, absolutely.
because
Absolutely not.
I
He's-
mean,
He's so good. He's so, every year he just, produces a good amount of points.
Oh yeah.
once
for
again,
sure.
another case of
And-
playing behind more star players like
Oh, yeah, for
Giroux and Voracek are the two guys in front of him when people talk about the Flyers.
Take a look at the list. Voracek is number 14 in the right wings there. So
Is he really? Because did he not have a good year last
he
year?
had a rough year.
Okay.
Well, he had a rough start.
He had a okay.
Rough first
Okay.
half. He brought it back on in the second half.
All right, so you're
When I traded him.
Simmons was consistent.
You're back on the-
Yeah,
you're
you
back
traded
on
him
the-
to me. He did well.
you're back on the clock here, Bruce. One more.
Oh, yeah.
You got your fifth here.
Oh, yeah. You know what?
No, 4th.
No, he's got 4 already.
I'm gonna take
Oh,
another
Because he's
Oh,
snake
okay.
draft. Because snake
Yeah.
draft, right?
another guy who slotted here in the right wing. I'm gonna take Patrick Sharp.
Nice.
Should I have just taken all goalies for fun?
No.
Can you actually do that?
I mean, if there are enough goalies to fill a team. You might lose a lot of points in goals, but, in the goal category.
All right, I'm going to need.
Unless Ron Hextall makes a comeback.
I'm going to take Chris Letang.
Nice.
It's a good pickup. That's a very good choice.
My only issue with the saying is health.
Yeah,
He
he
has
does
been
have.
up and down.
He's a bit injury prone, isn't he?
Yep.
That is true.
Well, that funny.
And
Quick
I
thing
don't
to
like
note.
Penguins.
Back to the World Cup. Remember, they went with the left and right shot thing. Letang and Subban, 3rd and 4th. They are ranked above most of the guys that Canada took on their roster. Brent Burns is the only Canadian defenseman that ranks higher. That ranks higher than those two.
I just got this really attack offense, and I just want the same. Just
You want?
Letang ripping slap shots. That's going to add up for me.
Yeah,
I'm
dude.
hoping so.
I'll see you tip all those in.
Just no injuries, bro.
All right. So since we're bouncing around
Oh,
a little
yeah.
bit, I'm going to take a left wing for my right wing here. Since he's still on the table, Mr. Jamie Benn. He is injured to start the
Jamie
season, possibly. I heard that he should be back in time. 41 goals last season. You can't really
Can't really wag a finger at that.
can't really do too much to discourage taking him, even though he might miss the first couple of games.
Which, I mean, it's a long season, so a couple
Him and
games.
Sagan are supposed to be back right around the first week, so put them back together on a line, it's gonna be dangerous.
All right, so I guess these are my final 2 picks here.
Yep.
All right, so I don't know why he's ranked so low on this list, and even though it's not very low, but it's too low than he should be. I'm going to go to Tampa Bay for my center. I'm taking Steven Stamkos.
There you go.
Steven Stamkos is playing on what I would say is probably the Eastern Conference's best team right now. For
They
sure,
really
they are
well
going to
built.
be such a contender this year. And I think they could definitely win the Stanley Cup this year for
Yeah.
sure. I think this is probably their year. especially because they got Stamkos locked up. They've got a bunch of these. They have a bunch of guys who are going to be restricted free agents next season, or unrestricted free agent. So this is their year. They got to win this year. I feel like this is their year, and I feel like this is the year they're going to do it. And finally, for my last pick, I got to take a goalie. Now, when I come to goalies, I don't take necessarily the best guy because I'm a goalie. I take the guys who I got to take my boys here. Mm-hmm. So I'm going farther down the list. I'm taking the greatest goalie in the history of the National Hockey League, Roberto Luongo, in net.
How did I
Slotted
know?
in at number 16 here.
Number 16. My worry for Luongo is he is having some injury issues, and this year, last year he played most of the games. He played pretty good chunk of games last year. This year the backup is James Reimer, so I feel like they're probably going to play him a little bit less than they did last year, especially because he is coming off an injury, and they have a guy like James Reimer who is a starting caliber goalie for sure. Let's be honest here. He is good enough to be starting on a lot of these teams. I got to go with Lou because if he's there, I'm going to take him. I always want to take Lou.
Well, he'll be there
That's
first round.
I'm not taking him.
Are you sure?
No, I wouldn't take him first round. If he's gone, I will. If he's gone by the time I get to him, I try and trade for him. But that's it. Other than that, I'll take somebody else.
Alrighty.
I've got my goalies. I got my goalies lined up here.
Right,
So my last defenseman that I gotta take here, I'm gonna take him just so I could talk about him for a sec. He's listed as number 8, Shane Gostisbehere.
Ghost Bear.
Ghost Bear. Have you seen some of the shirts? The Ghost Bear shirts. They are really
yeah, of
cool.
course. They're
I would
awesome.
love to get one of those. I don't even need to be doing this anymore. My team's full.
Yeah, he he last year set the record for rookie defenseman, playing only half a season for the Flyers. He was in the top 5, I believe, in power play points among all defensemen.
Did you only play half a year?
Yeah, well, it wasn't a half year. It's probably a little bit more than that, but it was.
That's
yeah.
it though?
Yeah,
Wow. I thought he was there the whole year.
Yeah,
I kept hearing his name.
Yeah, he had an insane season. So if he can continue to do that, he's going to be quarterbacking the power play. He plays all situations. He's got a hell of a shot. And fingers crossed, not for the sophomore slump.
Yeah, I put him. I was gonna say I put him in the same category as Panarin, just wondering if he's gonna still keep playing the same way he did. This isn't like a McDavid where you kind of where you kind of know they're gonna do well regardless. This is one of those times of do you worry that it's gonna be a one-hit wonder? Is he like Steve Mason, for example, was a one-hit wonder in Columbus. He's turned it back. He's come back. He's come back. He has come back.
Pretty good.
But he had a few years there where he was just not playing at the same level.
He was terrible after his rookie season in Columbus. But yeah, for Gostisbehere, it is a little bit of a risk. But if you take that risk and he puts up the same numbers he was putting up last season, he's going to be,
it's worth the reward.
He's going to be putting up Carlson numbers is what it's going to be.
And you'll be hoisting that trophy above your head.
Decent risk, very large reward.
Yeah. So that's my last pick.
All right, well then, I'm going to have to just scoop up Bufflin.
There you go.
He's just big body buff.
That's right. That makes my last pick easier.
I have a personal vendetta against Dustin Bufflin.
I understand.
Back when he was a forward. Not anymore. He's a defenseman, but when he was a forward, he was real pest, that one.
Yeah.
So, I was thinking between Bufflin and Doughty, and you just made that easy for me. So, Drew Doughty.
There you go.
Drew Doughty. Doughty.
Yeah, I mean, I hate the Kings, but Doughty's a cool guy.
Yeah.
I think this corner right here, hate the Kings.
I got a little bit of distance. I understand.
There's one Kings fan over here.
It's an ocean between us, actually.
Yeah, it really is.
All right, you want to run down your roster, Travis? How are you looking here at the end?
All right, so I got Patrick Sharp, Wayne Simmons, Patrick Kane, Brent Burns, Drew Doughty, and Braden Holtby.
That is a hell of a lineup there.
Yeah, dude.
And I have Crosby, McDavid, Pavelski, Letang, Bufflin, and Bishop playing together.
Nice. Pretty good. I have Giroux, Ovechkin, Jamie Benn. On D, I got Oliver Ekman-Larsson and Gostisbehere, and then Quick in goal.
All right, on my side, I've got, on the forwards, I got Steven Stamkos, Artemi Panarin, and Vladimir Tarasenko. On defense, I have Erik Karlsson and PK Subban, and in goal, Roberto Luongo.
Nice.
All right, so we're gonna keep track of these guys now and
We are gonna,
see how this goes.
Some notable ones
I gotta kick the the training wheels off somehow, you know.
Johnny Gaudreau, ranked 3rd overall.
Yeah, I almost
restricted
went
free
there,
agent.
too.
Yeah, he's still a restricted free agent. Calgary has not signed him yet.
They'll get it done.
Do you think so?
Yeah,
I
for
personally
sure.
think that that's not going to happen. I mean, I feel like they would have gotten it done by now. Because if he is such an important piece.
You're just busy and was looking pretty good.
But, like, see, they got
That's
Sean
what-
Monahan.
Send him to
Sean
the
Monahan,
Sharks.
also restricted free agent. They got him done. They got his deal done back in, like, July or August.
They're holding out to the last minute. It'll work out.
I just wonder, is that I just feel like there's a few cases actually right now, a few more than usual. There's Jacob Trouba, who's actually asked for a trade out of Winnipeg. There's Nikita Kucherov in the Lightning, and that's because they've basically run out of money. And Gaudreau, and I just wonder, because at this point, I mean, chances are they're not going to start the season. Most of these guys, I don't feel. Either they're going to hold out or there's going to be a trade. And I know personally, I really feel like the Canucks should go after one of these guys, especially I think the main guy I really like actually is Kucherov. I think Kucherov's really good. Gaudreau's good. I just don't think we have enough we just don't have enough to make a trade for him. Or Trouba. Also like Trouba a lot. Just also the question of, do we have enough to get him? Kucherov would probably be the closest one the Canucks could
We
ever
still got
grab.
2 weeks, so I think a lot of stuff can happen during that time.
So anyway, for the Sharks fans and for the Flyer fan here, out of those RFAs and other one you might have in your mind, is there anyone here who you think the Sharks could or the Flyers could or possibly make a play for, or just who you think they should go after?
I would love for them to go after Gaudreau.
I mean,
yeah, absolutely.
how can you not want
That'd
Gaudreau?
be
He's good.
sick.
Yeah.
For the Flyers, I think that they're out of money.
Are they really?
Yeah.
How did they spend that much?
They're really switching to a system game. So like bringing people up, they're really focusing on, drafting
inner development.
And it's really kind of been a big change that, when I started watching the Flyers, they were a team that went out and tried to spend as much money as they could in free agency, and
Didn't they try
it
to
was
sign?
really exciting.
Didn't they try to sign Shea Weber to an RFA deal
they
once?
they
got
offer sheeted him,
and the Preds just got pissed at them.
they had to pay him,
Yeah.
$100 million or whatever it was.
That's how you get that for people who want to be a GM. That's how you get the other GMs not to like you.
Oh yeah, for sure, yeah, and
Which is kind of unfortunate because that's a really good tactic. Because it's a good tactic, but the problem is nowadays it's become to a point of where if you do that, you have lost a trading partner for a long time.
Yeah. Nobody likes the Flyers anyways, so I didn't see the harm in doing that.
Yeah. Well, yeah. See, yeah. I feel like I would love the Canucks to offer sheet Johnny Gaudreau, but then Calgary.
They're not going to be
rival.
trading with Calgary anyways. So
Yeah,
that's not a bad.
Calgary's a rival. We've made a couple trades with them in the last little bit. We've gotten Sven Baertschi from them as well as Marcus. I think it's Marcus Granlund. There's two Granlund brothers.
Yeah.
And people just refer to the one the Canucks have as the other Granlund because he is not as good.
So, yeah, big splash trade.
Big splash trades, but still, it's that idea of we like, as Jim Benning likes to put it, they like the meat and potatoes guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So any lower
Fill
level
your team
people
up
here
with
on this
them.
list that you guys see that are lower than you think, or just people you want to talk about as
Jonathan Toews.
Yeah.
Where's Jonathan Toews on here?
He's 24 on the centers.
Yeah.
That is insane. I don't rank him higher than Jason Spezza, Ryan
Not only is he
O'Reilly.
good, he just makes people around him better.
Fantasy hockey, Jonathan Toews is good, but he's not the superstar point getter that everybody else is, especially in Chicago. So he's a fantastic player, but generally every year he doesn't put up the numbers that fantasy hockey players or fantasy hockey teams are looking for. So he's an exceptional top 5 player in this league, but as far as fantasy hockey goes, he's not the guy that you pick in the first round. You know what I mean?
On the
He's not
Blackhawks
league
note
team
too,
round.
though, yeah, I mean Saad and Hossa.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the thing with I think with Chicago, I think some of these guys are a lot ranked lower mainly because of the fact that Chicago is so stacked that obviously not all these guys are getting the same ice time. So those guys are maybe like Brandon Stott. I think plays on the Blue Jackets now, but in terms of Hossa, he's not. The only reason he's not higher up is just because he's probably on the second or the third line in Chicago at this point. And guys like Panarin, for example, were playing on the first line with Patrick Kane. Of course, they're going to get a lot of points in that regard, right?
Yeah.
But I still felt he was a good call.
I like seeing Zibanejad here on the list. I don't know how well he's going to do in New York, but he's been a very consistent point getter for fantasy teams.
I think that was a pretty silly move on Ottawa's part. Who did they get in return? I don't even remember. I don't even remember who they got in exchange for Zibanejad. I was a toss-up for me between Panarin and Philip Forsberg on left wing.
Yeah.
The reason I gave Panarin the edge was because I already took a Predator, simply because I took Subban from the Predators already. I didn't want to stack all my players on one team. So I thought go with somebody on another side, and I thought Panarin was probably the best call.
Yeah, Forsberg, he's good, man.
Peter Forsberg?
Yeah, Peter
I was
Forsberg.
gonna take McDavid at center, but Tony got there before I did. I wanted to just youth movement on the forward line, basically.
I see Tyler Toffoli at 10 on right wing. That's pretty high up.
I mean, that being said, when I look down the list, I don't really see anyone who I would rank higher than him.
He's been putting up numbers quietly.
Maybe
he's
Kyle
one of the-
Okposo. Maybe
Toffoli was the highest
Voracek,
scorer for the Kings last year, I believe. So
really,
yeah.
See,
More than Kopitar, more than Jeff Carter.
One of the guys I like who is low ranked on here, very underrated, is Brendan Gallagher on the Canadiens, and that's not just because he played on the Vancouver Giants and I saw him play. It's just because I guess it is partially that because I've seen his development over the years, and I've just seen how he's developed as a player, and he is really a premier winger, and he doesn't get enough attention for how well he plays.
Yep.
Specifically because he plays with Carey Price, PK Subban, Max Pacioretty. Those guys are the guys you hear about more. Even Galchenyuk is a guy you hear about more than Gallagher. Yeah. Gallagher's a lot more quiet of a guy as well. But he's definitely should be a little higher ranked, I think.
For sure. Well, good job, guys.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much all we've got today. Next week we'll get more into the Polar Bears because their season begins next weekend. And
October 7th we'll be in Santa Barbara
for the first game of the year, Division 2. You got 3 games out there, if I'm not mistaken.
We sure do.
I don't know if any fans are planning to make the trip out there, but you should bring the Ruckus down to to SoCal.
Sometimes the Ruckus already lives in SoCal.
Yeah, we do have some LA alumni down there.
There you go.
I'm sure they'll come out to the games.
We'll get more into your opponents when we get closer to the games, and I think we'll do probably.
And maybe we can talk about the Selly song by then too.
Selly, hopefully we've got hashtag SRJC Selly song. If you have not heard that yet, pick a goal song which you think would make sense for the team. I heard one. I
want to be hip.
I heard one today that was "Raise a Little Hell." It's like a Canadian rock band song. Really fun. I think that's cool. That'd be a cool one to play.
Canadian rock band? What, like
it's
Nickelback?
No, God,
Aren't
no.
they
oh
Canadian?
God, no. Let's never play Nickelback ever. Actually, did you see that last season when the Canucks came to town for a Stars game in Dallas?
No.
During the entire second period, anytime the whistle blew, they only played Nickelback.
That's
rich. And it was really rough. You would hear it over the background, and then somebody realized, wait a minute, they've just played Nickelback this entire period just to troll the Canucks.
Spiteful troll in the audio
I
box.
thought it was hilarious. As I'm not a Nickelback fan at all.
Well,
most Canadians aren't, actually. Is the funny
There's
thing.
only one Canadian rock band.
Avoid. Yeah.
Greatest band in the universe.
The Tragically Hip.
Yeah. No.
Gord Downey. That's
Shania Twain.
Getting closer.
Celine Dion.
That was Bare
Jay
Naked
Beebs?
Ladies.
Michael Jackson.
Michael Bublé.
Nope.
No, I don't know who you're talking about.
Rush.
About Rush.
Rush. Okay. That's a good.
Greatest band of all time.
On that
There's a
note,
lot
yeah, of all
of
time,
good. There's a lot of good. There's a lot of good
Slap it
Canadian bands that people don't realize are Canadian, like Rush, Tragically Hip.
Tegan and Sarah.
Tegan and Sarah. They wrote Everything Is Awesome. That's why I know.
Drake.
Well, yeah,
I'm
Drake
kidding.
as well. I like Drake. I love Drake.
All right, well, this has
and
been
then,
views
sorry.
from the cup. Just kidding.
Oh yeah.
On that note.
Oh yeah, I love that. That's a great photo. All right, I guess we're done for the night. Sorry, this has been maybe a little boring for some of you less nerdy hockey fans, but we'll get back to it next week. More talk about getting the Polar Bears show on the road, as well as the NHL season will be just around the corner as well. We'll see you back here next week. This has been 4 Dudes 1 Cup, the SRJC Polar Bears podcast, powered by the Oak Leaf, SRJC student newspaper.